Welcome back to the Ducati Panigale 899 rebuild. In today's episode, we've got a lot to cover. We are going to be taking apart the wheels, taking off the disc brake, removing the bearings and taking the hub off to get them prepared for sandblasting and powder coating. I'm also going to attempt to remove the exhaust in this episode just to get underneath it and clean all of the underside of the bike. And if we have enough time, I'm going to remove the rear linkage and get some of the new parts that we've brought on the bike. Just quickly before today's video starts, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel, everyone who's left a comment and liked and engaged with all the videos. It really helps. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is great. And if you've enjoyed the content and you're not subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button. It helps me grow the channel. And it's fun making these videos and it's good to see people enjoying the content. I film everything in advance, so I just wanted to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Now let's get on with the video. Before we brought this Panigale 899, it was used as a track bike, and the previous owner never done much maintenance, so the more parts we take off of it, the more problems we discover, and the more parts that need servicing, oil cleaning off of them, and just general maintenance. It's quite a fun project because there's a lot to do, but it just means it's quite time consuming. So let's crack on with the episode and get cleaning some of the parts on this bike. I'm really happy with the way the stands come out. It actually looks like new again. And the top yoke that we left in paint strippers come out really good too. The only downside is we actually already brought one. So before we stripped the paint off of it, we didn't think that this was an original. We thought it was an AliExpress copy, but we put a paint stripper on it and it's actually come out to be the original. So now we've got two of them. We're going to have to put the one that we brought off eBay back on because it's probably the most tarnished. And we'll put the cleaner one on the bike. We're starting to make some really good progress on getting the bike apart. Down here you can see just how dirty the exhaust and all the underside of the engine is. I'm now going to attempt to take the exhaust off to clean it. It looks quite complicated, it wraps all the way around, so we're not going to take the full exhaust off, we're just going to take the cans off at the bottom. I'm sure even that's going to be quite difficult. Almost every little surface of this bike needs a deep clean when you look really close. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to take it all apart, strip it down, clean it, grease it, put it back together the way it's supposed to be. The plan is to pull the 2 springs off, and then as I loosen off some of the bolts, this should disconnect. Now we all know that's not going to be as easy as I just said, because if I know anything about taking exhausts off motorbikes, as I've done with that a few times, is they can get a little bit corroded and a little bit stuck, so they can be a bit difficult to take off. But we're going to give it a go, so let's crack on and get this exhaust off. Okay, finally we got the end cans off. With my brother's help, they come right off. We just tapped them on the back quite a bit with a mallet and they slipped off. They're in pretty good condition. They're quite dirty, but once we've cleaned them, they should come out pretty good. The actual downpipe section of this bike, we're just going to leave on. I'm going to put some Dr. Downpiper on it, leave it to soak, scrub it, and it should come out looking like new. Also, the snap bolt I was talking about earlier, we're probably going to drill that out and put a nut and bolt on it. I'm now going to remove the tyres and the wheel bearings to get them ready for a respray. We've now had the tyres and the bearings removed, and the wheels are almost ready to go for powder coating. The place that does the powder coating has asked us to remove all of the rubbers, but we're having a little bit of trouble getting these rubber cush drive bushings out. They seem to be wedged in there. We're going to find a way to get these removed, and then the wheels are going off for powder coating. We've actually decided we're going to take off the bottom half of the wire pipe just so we can get better access cleaning it and to polish it. So this is how the exhaust come on the bike. Pretty rotten. Covered in grime, covered in grease. I don't think they've ever been washed. And then this is the other one that I've been cleaning. Look at that. Wow. That looks so clean. Side by side, you can really see the difference. Spent quite a while cleaning them, but then I spent about 20 minutes going over it with this Mother's Mag polish. Really good. It's made them nice and shiny. Both of the exhausts have been cleaned up. The one on the left is not in as good condition as the one on the right, but they both look a lot better. And the left hand side one actually has this plate on it that says it is not legal to use this exhaust on the roads. So guys, with a bit of elbow grease, we managed to clean up the rear hub, all these rear spacers, and a few components to the exhaust. Another area on the bike that needed quite a bit of attention when it comes to cleaning was in here. I'm going to put up on the screen now a little shot of it before. This is what it did look like. There's a lot of delicate surfaces and a lot of areas for grime to build up. But I just went over it with a wet cloth and some degreaser, trying to avoid any of the delicate sensors. And I also use contact cleaner, so like an isopropyl contact cleaner. And this is the result. Right now we've got to head over to West London because we've got an appointment at the powder coaters. Alright, so we're in the powder coaters, got the stuff on the shelf, just sorting out some prices and some dates. And I've got some other bits. I need the crash bars on my KTM doing as well, so I'm doing it all as a job lot, different colours. Can't wait to show you guys the colour that we've chosen for these Ducati wheels. They're going to look amazing. Next on the list is actually garage related, and it's something we've wanted to do for a long time. We're going to fit these eye hooks up to the ceiling so we can hang ropes down or ratchet straps, and that gives us a chance to lift bikes up into the air to work underneath them. Oh my eyes, where's my safety glasses? What's them? Oh, dang. That intake definitely covered. Yeah. That would be absolutely fine. Okay, so got 3 hooks installed, so if I wanted to I could actually lift this whole bike up off the floor without any stands. It's great, it's kind of like having a bike lift but attached to the roof, so it's out of the way. Which is really handy because now with the bike attached to ratchet straps and the hooks on the ceiling, it's kind of like we have a lift and we're able to get the back of the bike off the ground, so when we disconnect this linkage the swing arm doesn't fall on the floor. Another handy thing about having it lifted up into the air is when we're washing and cleaning it, all the dirt can just fall down and there's nothing going to be in the way. Because the Dr. Downpipe works so well, we're actually going to take off the rest of the exhaust and spray it and clean it and try and get it looking new again. I was a bit worried about undoing their bolts going into the head, but they've all loosened off pretty well, so we can't actually remove the exhaust until we take the shock off, but fortunately we need to do it anyway to replace this linkage. back to the exhaust just for a minute. Since the other day when I cleaned and polished them, I've since used Dr. Downpipe. The pipe sections of this exhaust were brown and rusted. It wasn't rusted, it was kind of oxidized titanium brown, which I'm sure is going to come back, but for now they're looking nice and shiny to match the whole exhausts. Okay, so I just realised everything I just said was filmed with the wrong lens and it never got any of my face in the shot. So I can't repeat exactly everything that I said, but to keep it quick, we've got the bike suspended off the ground, which means we can clean it up and disconnect the linkage and put the new linkage on, and also remove the plate that got snapped when we bought the bike. Something else I mentioned a second ago was that we are going to do our own valve check on this bike. So when we bought this Ducati, it came with no service history, which means we don't know when it was last serviced or what was done, and whether or not the valve check has been done. At 15,000 miles, these Panigales need to have a valve clearance check. So this Ducati Panigale has Desmotronic valves, which means it has slightly different cams or valves to a normal bike. I don't know that much about it. You can find loads of information about it online, so I'm not going to bore you with it. But essentially, it's very important that when this bike is due a valve clearance check that you do it. Just because it's Italian and fussy, you know what Ducatis are like. Now, I'm well aware that checking the valves and adjusting the valves are two different things. I'm fairly confident that I can take off the top of the head and use some feeler gauges to check the distances, but I'm definitely not confident in adjusting shims or changing the shim gap distances, any of that, and doing the calculations. Might do it. If it needs doing, we're going to see if it's doable. And if I wanted to try and do it. If not, we'll just take the bike to a Ducati specialist and let them do it. And before we actually do that, we need to clean all of the surfaces around here, because you don't want any of the dirt getting into the cylinder head. There's a lot of dust on this bike and dirt still. I have already cleaned it inside of here. This is immaculate. Well, I wouldn't say immaculate, but it's very clean in there. This and the back rear of the bike just needs another going over, just so there's a clean service when we're taking off the cylinder head. And that is it for today's episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you've made it this far, if you've enjoyed the content, then please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs so I can do more bike builds like this. And in the next episode, I'm going to take delivery of the powder coated wheels that I've got. I'm very excited to show you what colour I'm going for. And of course, there are just other bits and pieces that need doing on the bike. So I'll see you on the next episode.